Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed participants and distinguished guests, welcome to the much anticipated inauguration of GovHack 2023. As the chair of this remarkable event, it's my privilege to extend a warm and enthusiastic greeting to each and every one of you. Over the next few days, we are set to embark on an extraordinary journey of innovation, collaboration, and boundless creativity. GovHack stands as a testament to the incredible potential that lies at the intersection of data, technology, and human ingenuity. We gather here not just as individuals, but as a community of change makers who believe in the transformative power of ideas. This year, our theme is Empowering Communities Through Data resonates deeply. It highlights the role that you, our talented participants, will play in shaping the future of our societies. In a world that is rapidly evolving, the ability to harness the insights hidden within the data is nothing short of revolutionary. As you immerse yourself in this hackathon, remember that your innovation have the capacity to drive positive change in ways we can scarcely imagine. As the hackathon unfolds, you will have the chance to collaborate with fellow minds from diverse backgrounds, each contributing unique perspective to the challenge at hand. The connections that you make and the ideas that you share will ripple far beyond these walls, leaving an incredible mark on the way we approach problem solving. I urge you to embrace the spirit of GovHack fully. Let your creativity flourish. Let your ideas run wild. Let your passion fuel your dedication to finding solutions. Remember that innovation often emerges from unexpected places, and sometimes most audacious ideas are the ones that leave an everlasting impact. So, without further ado, I declare GovHack 2023 officially open. Let the coding, designing, collaborating, hacking begin. As you embark on this exciting journey, know that your efforts are not a testament of your skills, but a commitment for a better future for all of us. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining us on this remarkable adventure. Together, we will unlock new horizons and forge pathways to progress. Happy hacking!
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to GovHack 2023. We're excited to welcome you to our 14th year of this competition. It is great to see so many familiar and new faces joining around Australia and New Zealand this evening. GovHack began in Canberra in 2009 as just a small data mashup, and now we have participants from all over Australia in every state and territory, along with our partners on both the North and South Islands of New Zealand. GovHack is the largest open government data hackathon in the Southern Hemisphere. Over the next 46 hours, you will be introduced to so many exciting challenges put forward by our sponsors, and from these, come up with so many unique and interesting project ideas. These ideas will then be developed into a mix of technical and creative proof of concepts, which use many of the open government datasets made available to you. Our sponsors make this event possible to be free, enticing, and inclusive to all. So thank you for all your support this year, and we hope you look forward to seeing the great outcomes from this weekend that you have made possible. Joining us from many of our venues in person as well as online via Slack, we have a wide range of mentors available to support you and your teams throughout the competition weekend. The mentors come from many of the sponsoring organizations as well as skilled individuals to provide insights and guidance into the data, technology, and creative processes over the weekend. So make sure to be around for the mentor morning tea on Saturday to get some valuable insights and feedback on your initial ideas. Our Slack community grows each year with new faces. So if you haven't already, be sure to join in so you can form teams, connect with mentors from across GovHack, receive important competition updates, and to reach out to our remote competitors. If you haven't previously joined our Slack, you can head to govhack.org/Slack to register. That's govhack.org/Slack. If you joined Slack in a previous year, you can log in again at govhackhq.slack.com. That's govhackhq.slack.com. For the competition this year, you will be able to enter up to 5 challenges with a single project. If the project that you put together aligns with multiple challenges, aims, and requirements, please make sure to add them in up to a maximum of 5 challenges. However, ensure you check the challenge entry requirements first to ensure your project is relevant. New to this year, we will be having a Sunday trade show judging from your peers, volunteers, mentors, and sponsors that are on site on Sunday afternoon. From 4 p.m. local time, you will be able to visit other projects from your venue to give them feedback and a score that will feed into the official judging done by the competition judges after the close of the competition. To be ready for that trade show on 4 p.m. Sunday, you need to have completed your project page, ensuring it has everything about your project on it. The project page needs to include 1. A description of your project, what it is, what it does, and how it responded to the challenges. 2. A data story. What data did you use in the project? How have you combined it? And what story does it tell as a result? 3. Your evidence of work, such as a Git repository for your code or file share of creative assets. 4. A 3-minute video that tells us about you and your project. 5. A homepage or demo of the project that we can play with. 6. A list of all the datasets that you have used in your project. And finally, 7. The challenges you have entered. For the evidence of work, video, and homepage or demo, please ensure that they can be viewed by anyone. Otherwise, our judges can't review your project. The competition will formally close at 5 p.m. local time on Sunday after an hour of the trade show style judging. All of this information has also been added to the Hacker Handbook, competition rules, and competition FAQ pages. These can be found in the resources section of the Hackerspace. So the competition has now opened and you can head on over to the Hackerspace to see all the challenges on offer to you. Good luck, play fair, and happy hacking. Thank you.
It's time to look at the challenges that are on offer. This will be a quick run-through of them. You can find more information about each challenge on the Hackerspace. Starting with the International Challenge, Infosys has the following challenge: measuring emissions. Where should we start? Standardizing data for tracking, monitoring, and reporting emissions. Where they ask, climate change is forcing governments and regulators to enforce stringent norms for businesses to reduce emissions and address environmental risks. There is no standard framework for reporting ESG and climate-related risks, leading to non-uniform data. How can this issue be addressed to help organizations better report on their emissions? Moving on to the Australian challenges, we start with Infosys again, where they have the following challenge: measuring and reducing carbon emissions from physical infrastructure assets. In this challenge, they want you to build a platform, solution to raise awareness of the importance of decarbonization, and to provide resources to help people and businesses make changes to their lifestyles and practices. By enabling a data-driven, collaborative, and user-friendly platforms for decarbonization, Australia can accelerate its journey to net zero emissions. The next challenge is from the Australian Taxation Office, where they have the challenge, Helping Women Succeed Financially. This challenge asks, how can financial outcomes for women be improved through increasing diversity and inclusion across industries? The Department of Employment and Workplace Relations has the challenge, Department of Employment and Workplace Reform, asking teams, what skills, training, and qualifications do Australians already have that can support the transition from a fossil fuels-based to a clean energy-based economy? What are the gaps in skills, training, and qualifications that may delay this transition, with a particular focus on the Gippsland in Victoria, Hunter Valley in New South Wales, Central Queensland, and Collie in Western Australia regions? The next challenge comes from IP Australia, where they want diversity in IP rights system. This challenge asks the following question. Out of the top applicants for patents, trademarks, and designs to IP Australia, how can we find out how many are female-led, have female-friendly hiring policies, or otherwise have positive gender, sexual diversity policies, and what industries, technologies are they active in? Our next sponsor, Matt Watt, is interested in generative AI, unleashing the power of open data. Their challenge asks the following. Explore the potential of generative AI in conjunction with open data to empower communities and foster positive social impact. This challenge invites participants to leverage generative AI models to analyze and derive insights from open data, sourced from government datasets. By combining the power of generative AI with the wealth of open data available, participants can create innovative solutions that address real-world challenges and benefit communities. Next, we have 3 challenges from the National Freight Data Hub. In their first challenge, identify plausible domestic freight routes across different modes of transport, they ask participants to determine the most efficient way of moving freight around Australia using average speed of trucks and trains. An intermodal train can load 100 to 150 shipping containers. Goods can only move between trucks and trains at seaports and intermodal terminals. Consider using Google Maps Places API to identify major manufacturers and distribution centers. Their next challenge is exploring relationships between industry and population in regional Australia, where they ask, regional livability is influenced by the diversity and stability of local industry. People need employment to stay and be attracted to move to regional Australia. Businesses and industry adjust with market interest, but how does this affect the local population? Do they adjust too? Their third and final challenge is measuring freight performance across modes through universal metrics. In this, they want you to explore the following. Australia's domestic freight demand has increased significantly over the last 4 decades and continues to grow. With this growth, knowing what, where, and how freight is moving is essential. Help the freight sector across government and industry to come up with ways to design metrics that are interoperable across all modes to measure performance. Moving on, we have 2 challenges from Quantium. Their first challenge is measuring freight performance across modes through universal metrics, where they ask the question, how can we identify where families who might have second-hand baby and children's goods to donate live, and estimate the volume of goods that could be donated to families in need through organizations such as Roundabout? Their second question is using machine learning and generative AI to improve health outcomes, which asks, how can machine learning or generative AI be used to help Australians to live longer, healthier, happier lives? Our last challenge for all Australian participants is from us here at GovHack. Our challenge to you is for the best creative use of data in response to ESG. Environment, social governance. This challenge asks you, how can you showcase data in a creative manner to respond to ESG challenges? How can we present and visualize data to stimulate conversation and promote change? The ACT government put forward 3 challenges, the first of them being making public archives more accessible, where they ask, online catalogs like ACT Memory provide information about government records, and, where possible, provide copies of the records themselves. These records are generally in PDF or JPEG format. This makes the documents difficult to search for, access, and use. How might governments with record catalogs, like ACT Memory, solve this problem and make these rich sources of information more useful? Their next challenge is charging electric vehicles in the ACT. This challenge has the following problem. The ACT's zero-emission vehicle strategy includes several incentives to purchase EVs, as well as a plan to expand the public charging network to 180 charging stations by 2025. To build this network of charging stations, it is important that government understands where the greatest need for chargers is across the territory. How can this be measured, and how can we assess the effectiveness of public EV chargers in Canberra? The last challenge from the ACT government is how Canberra has evolved, showcasing historical imagery. In this, they would like you to look at the following. The ACT government's ACT Mapi visualizes important geospatial data on the ACT. As an interactive tool, ACT Mapi provides an opportunity to display data sources of Canberra's infrastructure, community facilities, and historical information. This challenge asks hackers to stitch together historical datasets of aerial imagery prior to 2004 and showcase their importance from environmental to population trends. In the ACT, we also have a challenge from Agile Digital. Their challenge is Australian Consumer Energy Dashboard, ACD, putting the power in the hands of energy consumers. This challenge looks at the following problem. Australians are paying more than ever for their electricity. The Consumer Data Right, CDR, offers to empower Australian consumers with information and choice. Your challenge is to develop a consumer pricing democratization solution, a geospatial visualization portal that utilizes the CDR to allow Australian consumers to pool their pricing data and inform each other of better deals. Starting with Heritage New South Wales, they have 3 challenges. The first is enhancing heritage inventory, bridging the knowledge gap. This challenge asks, knowledge is power. The State Heritage Inventory contains data gaps that impact the effective management and protection of our irreplaceable heritage items and Aboriginal cultural sites. How can open-source data enhance the inventory and deliver better outcomes for our state heritage, Aboriginal cultural heritage, and our community? Their second challenge is discover heritage, unravel your local stories. This challenge wants you to ignite a passion for heritage and bridge the gap between people and their cultural roots. How can the community discover the untold stories of their local heritage and understand its universal value? How can we create lasting impact by preserving traditions, building community bonds, and boosting local economies through heritage tourism? Heritage's last challenge is cultural coasts, empowering Aboriginal site protection amidst climate change. They put forward this problem. As climate change threatens our precious coastal areas, ancient Aboriginal cultural sites are being damaged and pose the very real risk of losing them forever. How do we use climate data to protect them and help empower communities to preserve these irreplaceable cultural landmarks? The New South Wales Department of Customter Service has 2 challenges. The first is cost of living pressure NSW. This challenge puts forward, cost of living is key issue affecting many NSW citizens. What can data such as the rental bonds and fuel price data tell us about the impact and possible solutions? This challenge can only be entered by teams based in New South Wales. Their second challenge is COVID's lasting impact on education. This challenge asks, what impact has COVID had on student educational outcomes, for example, retention, enrollment rates, HSC completions, and more? What lessons can we learn to minimize the impact on education for future pandemics? This challenge can only be entered by teams based in New South Wales. The last New South Wales challenge is from the Department of Education, where they want to make sure that you are getting home wherever you live. This challenge looks at road traumas are devastating for school communities. How might data help develop localized solutions to reduce these rates? The Northern Territory government has 2 challenges this year. The first is using AI to better connect Northern Territory science with the community. This challenge asks you, how can the Northern Territory government use AI to better compile and report to the community the NT-based advances in science and technology? This challenge can only be entered by teams based in the Northern Territory. The second challenge is supporting Territory middle school students towards digital careers, which poses the question, how can the Northern Territory government support more Territory middle school students towards digital careers? This challenge can only be entered by teams based in the Northern Territory. In Queensland, we start with Brisbane City Council. They have 2 challenges, the first being Brisbane City Experience, where they want to know, How can you use open data and creativity to enhance the Brisbane City experience? Their second challenge is Brisbane City Community Preparedness. This challenge asks, how can we use open and public data to understand the community's level of preparedness for disruption to inform Council's response and recovery efforts? Moving north to the city of Moreton Bay, they also have two challenges. First, they have Moreton Bay being resilient in times of uncertainty. This challenge asks the questions, how might Council be able to utilize our open data sets to assist the community during climate change and significant weather events? We have published datasets that have been built for command centers during adverse weather conditions. What opportunities also exist for these datasets to be used to enable and protect our community during periods of significant weather events? The second challenge is Moreton Bay Greening as We Grow, which asks, how might we harness the power of the everyday citizen to help protect our diverse flora and fauna as we grow our region, creating a diverse and flourishing planet for generations to come? A little bit further north, we have the Sunshine Coast Council, which has the challenge, Governance, Better Use of Data. This challenge the Council asks, how can we better utilize population data of urban flying fox roosts to improve understanding of their movement patterns and promote strategic conservation efforts and inform management responses to reduce human-wildlife conflict? Lastly, in Queensland, Unity Water has the challenge, Driving a Better Way Forward. They want you to look at Unity Water travels over 3.9 million kilometers each year, maintaining water and wastewater services for our region. How might we use our vehicle data to benefit people, planet, and productivity in the future? How might we improve our commitment to environmental sustainability, simplified work practices, and people safety using vehicle data? The South Australian Tourism Commission has three challenges. First, they have increase visitor expenditure through smart tourism. In this, they ask, how can we use digital technology to upsell to visitors to South Australia by uncovering additional attractions and experiences and/or extending their stay? Their second challenge is increase the appeal of a career in the tourism and hospitality sector, which asks, how can we use data and/or technology to engage and attract more young South Australians to pursue a career in the tourism and hospitality sector? Lastly, they have highlight the diversity of South Australia's tourism product through gamification. In this challenge, they want you to explore the question, how can we apply gamification to engage and educate young South Australians about South Australia's diverse tourism product offer, and through this, influence key decision-makers in their household to discover more of South Australia? Next, we have SA Power Networks, which wants you to amp up SA, forecasting electric transport for grid resilience. This challenge asks you, how might we prepare our state for the growing electrification of the transport sector? This challenge can only be entered by teams based in South Australia. The last challenge from South Australia comes from the RAA. They have addressing climate change and cost of living pressures for apartment dwellers and owners with shared renewables. This challenge asks, of South Australians living in apartments, townhouses, and other shared buildings, how can we find out how many of them have the opportunity to support renewable energy? In Tasmania, the city of Hobart has the challenge, towards a zero emissions and resilient Hobart. They would like you to look into the following problem space. Hobart and our region are already experiencing the impacts of climate change. We seek creative and innovative approaches that leverage open data to help the community better understand and communicate climate risk, enable community-wide participation in action and solutions, and accelerate our transition towards a zero-emissions and resilient city. In Victoria, the Department of Government Services has two challenges. The first of these is, explore the relationship between vehicle types and the uptake of EVs. For them, the challenge is to analyze vehicle registration data and explore the relationship between vehicle types and the uptake of EVs. Identify and analyze factors that may influence the adoption of electric vehicles. Their second challenge is, analyzing recycling trends over the last 20 years to predict future recycling behavior. For this, they would like you to conduct analysis to understand and identify trends in recycling practices over the past 20 years. The objective of the challenge is to gain insights from recycling rates, material compositions, geographic variations, and other factors influencing recycling behavior. The Public Record Office. Victoria also has two challenges. First, they have remixed the archives using the Prov API. In this, they ask you the question, how might you use the Prov API to create a service that allows users to remix the archives for artistic endeavor? Their second challenge is tagging photographic images, showcasing the magnificent history of Victoria. They ask, how can we enable researchers to tag images of digitized records from photographic collections? In Western Australia, the Disability Assembly WA, together with Partner and Prosper, put forward the challenge, Getting Out and About in WA with a Disability. In this challenge, they would like you to respond to the question, how can we use data to uncover what events, local spaces, activities, and communities within WA are available to people with disabilities? GovHack has also put forward a challenge in Western Australia. In this challenge, using open data to close the gap, we would like you to explore the question, how can we improve the data and information sharing practices between governments and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities and organizations to close the gap? And that now brings us to the end of the challenge announcements. Check out the Hackerspace for more detailed information and all the related data sets for each of the challenges. Make sure you join us on Slack if you are participating remotely so you can get all the updates during the competition. Good luck and happy hacking!